Hello and welcome back everyone to the Cat and Mark Show. So today we have a very special guest on. We've got Apollo with us. So Apollo is a stripper and an Onlyfans creator from the Gold Coast. He's also just recently traveled to America and worked with some really big international creators. So we will get into all of that in a minute. But Apollo, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Welcome.
Amazing.
Maybe to kick us off, maybe tell us a little bit about what exactly it is that you do in the industry and maybe kind of how you got into the industry.
Sure. So right now I am majority OnlyFans. So what that means to people who don't know is OnlyFans is an online platform which allows adult and explicit content. Adult and explicit content isn't the only thing on that platform, but that's what it's famous for. So basically, I work with other creators around Australia and now the world to create porn, basically. I go around the world, work with other creators, do content share where I produce the whole thing. So I bring my camera, my gear, my lighting with me and edit it all myself, send it to the girls, and then off we go. But I also do some stripping. But to be honest, that's something that I do like on the weekends as like a probably a few times a month. Like I'm not prioritizing that as much purely because like it just takes a lot of time out of my week. If I go travel to a location and back, it just takes it actually takes a lot out of you, the in-person work I've found. But yeah. So mostly OnlyFans, a little bit of stripping, and full-time social media dummy.
So I'm curious, which one do you prefer the most? Because I think any guy listening to this is probably thinking, "Fuck, what great jobs! Okay, I get to go take my clothes off in front of women. I get to have sex on camera. This sounds pretty good. What do you actually enjoy? What's your passion? Would you say? Like, what do you enjoy?
To be honest, it's one of those things where it's like both those jobs, like stripping and OnlyFans, the highs are super high, but the lows are super low. So when it's like both those jobs, you know, the best day on both those jobs was a pretty amazing day. The worst day at both those jobs, you know, can be pretty bad, you know? So like, it's one of those things where I think I prefer the OnlyFans because you have a lot more control over the scenario. So for example, like I get to choose all of my coworkers. Like I reach out to them, they reach out to me, and we organize the whole thing. Like I'm not working for a company who then says, "Hey, Apollo, you're going to work with XYZ today. I'll see you at 10 a.m." It's all stuff that I can kind of manage myself and stuff that I look forward to because I've done it and I've been the one to organize it. But with the stripping stuff, it can be really good. Like most of the time it is really good. Like everyone is well behaved, super polite, but you just don't know what you're going to be walking into. You know, sometimes you might walk into like they might say, we've got a mad area for you to strip. It's on a boat, blah, blah, blah. You might rock up in the area to strip. They're like, oh, they couldn't get the boat we wanted, so this is the boat we've got. And it's like this little piece of shit dinghy. And you're like, man, damn it. This is going to suck for everyone, including me. But you know, you get the job done. But it's just one of those things where you just don't know what you're going to walk into. Like I had one night where I walked into one job was like 4 girls in the living room. Awesome. And then the next job was at like some rich girl's like 21st birthday with literally like 150 people, like all sat at like dining in like one of those like function halls. And I did like my strip in front of all of them on like the dance floor. So like,
damn.
You just don't
so
know.
It's like a classy dining hall.
It could be anything. And then like the next one you could walk into could be like something like, you know, whatever. Like it makes it exciting, but also from like a perspective of like I'm no longer as wild as I used to be in like my 20s. Like I feel like 20s me is like, yeah, I'm up for the challenge. Whatever comes, I'm keen. Let's do it. Which I'm still like that, but I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just like do the things I want to do and not ever be forced to do anything that I'm like not like on the edge of like being comfortable with, you know?
Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot more control with the OnlyFans, right? Like you have more of a say in it. You're doing all the production, the editing. You're picking who you want to do it with. So what did you get into first? Was it the stripping you got into first, and then went over to OnlyFans, or did you do it at the same time? Like, how did you get into the industry?
So I actually used to be a personal trainer, and I moved up to Brisbane from Canberra right before COVID. Built my PT business. Things were going great, and then COVID hit, screwed my business. But during that time, because I, for those who don't know, when you're a personal trainer at a big gym, you pay the gym rent, and you don't actually make money from the gym. You only make money from your clients. So if you don't have clients,
wait, what is that a thing?
That's a thing.
You pay the gym.
I pay the gym.
What,
so
really?
Example, I might pay the gym. Let's just say $300 a week, like a house.
What?
rent.
Are you serious? Is that a thing?
Yeah. And then,
is it like this with all gyms?
This is not all. I mean, like a lot of gyms, this is the business model. If you go to like a Good Life or a Fitness First or Jets or take your pick at those big ones, that's the model they use. And it's actually a good model if you're a hardworking, good personal trainer. The only issue is in the startup phase, you end up with a lot of time burning money with not a lot of actual money coming in. That's when I started doing topless waiting and kind of dipping my toes in the stripping. Like I never actually became a stripper until COVID hit. I wasn't actually intending to do that. And then COVID hit and I was like, well, let's think about making some money because all my clients have just like jumped ship, which I don't blame them because the thing is, if I didn't know my trainer for more than 3 months and like that shit hit the fan, I'd be like, dude, this luxury item has to go. And I'd be like, I was like, cool, no worries. I just got to figure it out. But that's how I became topless waiter. That's how I became a stripper. But then when I was a stripper during that period of time, they changed the rules for like hens parties and house parties to only allow 10 people at a time. So all my hens nights that I had like planned out to like kind of float the financial boat for a while, all cancelled and like moved to like just pushed forward until those restrictions were raised. So then, like at that time, me and Eden were dating my ex, and we decided, you know what, we could probably do this OnlyFans thing. She knew a couple of girls that were doing it just on their own, taking like titty pics in the mirror, not even doing it properly, you know, and they were making like pretty good money. But back then, the money was accelerated, like obviously, because everyone was just at home jerking off, doing nothing. But,
nothing to do, exactly.
But still, I was like, all right, let's do it. So I started my page, my ex started her page, and we just started doing collabs ourselves, like with just putting our own stuff up. And the rest is history. Like we started doing it just like everyone else, like trying to sell pics for like an exorbitant amount of money, not really working out. So then we were like, okay, the pics don't work, maybe we'll try this. Maybe, and then like censored feed doesn't work, everyone feels ripped off, maybe we take the censor away. We tried selling PPV way too expensive. That didn't work. Let's try cheapening it up. So that's been the process, and that's how I started. And I'm just kind of flowing with it at the moment.
How are you finding Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, go, Kat.
I know this. This is what I hate about like these Zoom calls. I know, so much lag. How are you finding like the OnlyFans landscape? Because you mentioned that, like, you know, obviously at the start of like when OnlyFans came out, like girls were making lots of money just from like titty pics, and I know even myself when I first made an OnlyFans like right at the start of one of the first lockdowns, and I was doing pretty much just that. I just had like lingerie and just like titty pics on there, and I was making like I was making more than I'm making now from OnlyFans back then, just from like titty pics, and I wasn't even doing porn or anything. Whereas now I do like porn and stuff. But now that everyone's doing OnlyFans, obviously it's very saturated. It's a lot harder to probably market yourself. People are spreading their money out between like the millions of creators rather than, I guess, just a few handful of creators that were doing it at first. So how are you kind of finding the changing landscape as it's like going on and more people are entering it and it's becoming harder and harder to market yourself and to make money from it?
Oh, it's hard. It's very hard. Like it
is hard. Like I know a lot of girls like I don't want to say struggling, but some people are struggling. But yeah, it's really hard to like make money, the same kind of money that people were making.
I think like this is my opinion and what I've like experienced, like unless you've got some like incredible marketing, like there's a few creators that I know for example, Tasha Page, she's just gone overseas and done a bunch of collabs, but until then has just done Australia collabs, but has gotten like thousands of subs into her OnlyFans from telling these amazing stories. Like she tells these exacerbated stories on TikTok, has a really great relationship with
Yeah, she's cream pie. Is that cream pie girl?
Cream pie girl, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. she's Australia's cream pie queen. So that's her shtick, and she's been in people take her stories off there and they put them into their like news reports. She's been on news websites, blah, blah, blah. So for some, if you can think of a shtick and have great marketing, definitely you can do really, really well. But I think the problem is that the old school where you're just being sexy, everyone's sexy. Everyone's sexy. You need to be able to be more than just sexy, because that is the difference between the saturated market now to then, is that the effort needs to be put into creating your brand that makes you different. And a lot of people, I'm included. I find it very difficult to be original. I find myself looking at others and trying to see how I can emulate what they're doing, and like not creating your own thing, you know, like what was so, I guess, what's been so good about Tasha is that she is super authentic, but also was the first person doing that style of storytelling about, like, you know, about just craving cream pies flat out. Like, it's actually genius.
It's clever. It's clever.
Hey, it's you know what? These social media things, it's all about finding the things that you can talk about that are a bit fringe and the words you can use without getting shadow banned. Like even
that's the hard part.
Correct.
Right.
But when she started, cream pie was allowed to be used in any context. And now that she started doing that, you can't say cream pie unless you're using it as a context, as in eating a cream pie, an actual pie. You know what I mean? Like her things get bombed if they do that. So if you're the first and you're doing it great and you've got like a great idea for marketing, I think that's the way to get forward now, because like a sexy booty on Instagram is a dime a dozen. You know, like like I think like a lot of the girls are doing great because they're going overseas and working with these big names. And I think like unless you've got that social media thing where you're able to be authentic and original and flood people into your OnlyFans because they just love you, I think that the only real way is to work with more and more creators with bigger followings, which is what I've just done. I've just gone to America, done 3.5 weeks there, worked with like 20 different creators. And
shit.
Yeah, and they all had like over.
Been busy.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I overbooked it because I know how flaky Australian creators can be. As in, like, if I book three collabs this week, I might get 2 cancelled. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be mad. I'd just be like, that's just
the way it is.
That's my expectation.
Yeah.
I used to be now I'm just like,
it's not as full on here.
I'm booking 5, I'm expecting 2. You know what I mean? But I booked like 5 or 6 a week. I booked 6 a week for 3.5.
And they all came through?
2 cancelled. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I literally wanted like, I didn't want, but in my head I was like 8 to 10 are going to cancel. That'll be, and even that I was like, that'll be my limit to what I can kind of handle. By the end I was just like,
I don't know. Yeah, so tell us about America. Hard. Like, did you find that it helped going over there? And tell us about some of the cool people that you worked with.
I think it will help. It's just I haven't really released much of the stuff from over there, but I definitely got a good boost while I was there. I saw a growth in my social media and in my OnlyFans just because I was working with a bunch of people who had like huge followings. Like a lot of the people I worked with were like a lot of them had like between 150 to 500,000 followers on various social medias. And a couple of them had like near 1 million. So I've had like a bunch of people like on my OnlyFans be like, when's this video coming out? Keen to see this video, which like in Australia, like, although we do have very attractive women here, they just don't have huge followings and you just don't get as much of those requests. Like you don't get people tracking you down to find the people on your OnlyFans as much. So yeah, definitely I think it helps in that way. And it like overall profile definitely helps build it. But you know what else I like from over there is that a lot of the girls over there do they're just like open to doing pretty much any social media. Whereas here you're kind of limited to like TikTok and Instagram because a lot of the girls aren't like career porn stars. They're not doing this full time. They don't really want their explicit stuff, even small snippets out on like Twitter and like things like that. So it makes the marketing just that little bit more different. Whereas over there, they're like, literally just flick me through the snippets you want to put up and I'll just okay it and off we go. So like you're able to hit a lot more of those like explicit marketing strategies. Because I've just started using Twitter a lot more and putting like
I love Twitter.
Same. I used to be really against putting your porn up on Twitter, which I still am, but I'll put like 5 to 10 seconds just of like the best part just to show people what's up. Because a lot of the time I found that my marketing was just off. Like a lot of people thought I was a TikToker for a long time. They were like, "Oh, you do TikTok? How much do you get paid from that?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm actually a porn star." They're like, "Oh, didn't even know." I built my Twitter. I built my Twitter originally using my TikToks. I would just download my TikTok.
You just share it over.
Yeah, and I got to like 40,000 followers on Twitter using only my TikToks. I would just share it over to Twitter.
Okay.
And
as in like posting a TikTok video on Twitter.
Literally, I would just take the TikTok thing off it. And then chuck it on Twitter. I've literally built to like 40,000, but everyone on my Twitter was like, "This guy's a TikToker. He doesn't do anything."
Were you 40,000 surprised when you started throwing up some porn?
Dick pic, what the fuck?
It just got to a point where I was like talking to enough people like online and like at strip gigs who followed me for ages and blah, blah, blah. That everyone I talked to was like, "We thought you just did those short videos and that was it." Like, thought that was what you did. I was like, man, I need to change some shit. Because at that time, I was like these girls that I'm like the Australian girls and their attitude towards putting explicit stuff up. I refused to put any explicit stuff on Twitter, refused to put any like, any of that stuff up. So like, I think for most, I think a good strategy for content creators is to use your Instagram and your TikTok and your Facebook, if you've got it, as like PG, build it using something else that's not explicit or trying to drive traffic to your OnlyFans. Like stop saying spicy site, stop saying like, whatever, like dropping this when, like, what did we get up to? You know where to find it. Like just literally, if you can do a skill or if you've got some sort of dance background or if you've, whatever, you want to review food, like literally build that shit there, link your Instagram and link your Instagram there, which will have your link tree, which will then so then people will go viral on TikTok and then they'll go to your Instagram, they'll see your link tree, they'll go click on that, go to your Twitter. And that's where I use my Twitter as like a body of work. So people can like see what I actually do. So like
interesting.
So it's all porn. So they're like, "Oh, gotcha. The guy that reviews porn fucks chicks. Got it."
Yeah.
So you're not trying to like
sell them too early, essentially.
Yeah, I went after getting my account deleted. I got my Instagram account deleted, like I don't know, like a month or two ago, and ever since then, I don't mention anything now on my Instagram or like anything. Like I used to do exactly what you were saying. Like I used to be like, I used to say, things like spicy side or you know where to go or I'm going to be in this place next week. So now I've just stopped doing all of that. I've taken everything out of my bios and I just have like the link there and it's just like, okay, if they think I'm hot or whatever, then they can just go and find my links and that's it.
Yep. And that's honestly, like that's the smartest way to do it and the only way to do it because but at the same time, like I think that TikTok has the ability to go so viral so often that there is always going to be a small percentage, even if you're doing like PG content, nothing to do with it, that are going to go over to your Instagram just to see all your other social medias to see what's up and see what you kind of do there. But yeah, I think like I was saying before, I keep sitting on Tasha's nuts, but what she's doing is great because like what she'll do is she'll tell a story about some dude she met on Tinder, like seems like a regular like hookup story, and then she'll just drop in the middle of it. Yeah, and then I like handed him the phone, and he decided to film. And anyway, it was an okay date. Blah blah blah. You should just put it in there, and then it'll get like 200,000 views, and then people will, I assume, come to her OnlyFans and be like, "We want the video where you fucked that guy last week, and you gave him the phone to film." You know what I mean?
This goes back, I think. I was going to say, this goes back, I think, to what you were saying about before, which is you can't get away with just, I'm doing porn, this is going to work, or here's a booty pic or something like that. Like, you do, I think, need to be a lot more creative and unique now, and it's probably translating over to Twitter, over to TikTok as well, right?
Definitely.
Whereas before, there was a lot of girls probably just, as you said, being like, here's my TikTok, I'm hot, go sign up. Whereas I think now you're probably right. It has to be a lot more creative.
Well, now every cunt and his dog is doing porn. Like,
exactly. There's always going to be someone sexier. There's always going to be someone sexier. There's always going to be someone with a better booty, bigger titties, bigger dick, whatever. And you need to be more than just sexy. Don't get me wrong. Tasha does a lot more, a lot of thirst stuff as well. Like, not like, it's not all just like telling stories, but that is that is where you connect with the crowd. And I think like having like an audience connection is like such a huge part of becoming popular, becoming a cult phenomenon, I guess, which is what you want to be. You want to become someone who is completely unique and original.
I knew her as Cream Pie. I've never even met Tash, never even spoken to her, but even I knew her as Cream Pie Girl. I've never associated with her ever. So like it even got to me. And I've never even met her.
It works.
Yep, totally. So and like she's basically like created this persona where she's like the biggest slut in Australia, so to speak, like in a positive way, I guess. But like that's just kind of what she's known for. So like of course that's going to run traffic to the OnlyFans. So guys, like my biggest thing is like, yes, it is very difficult now to make the easy money. But I know people making really amazing money, like ridiculous money, by being authentically themselves and creating their own brand in a way that is pushing traffic over. Girthmaster's another one. Like he's got amazing marketing. He doesn't just use traditional marketing either. Sorry. He doesn't use social media marketing. He uses legacy marketing as well. So legacy media. So he's been on radio, been on Triple J, been on Kyle and Jackie O. So I mean, like if you're willing to step outside the box and you're not just trying to jump on the TikTok trend you saw, show your abs, show your booty, whatever, which is rich of me to say because that's a lot of what I do. But I'm currently trying to.
Well, you still need a little bit of that.
Exactly. But I'm currently trying to do the same thing. Create a more of this stuff. Or you and I.
Yeah, you do a lot of talking stuff now.
What's that?
You've got some fun stuff on your, I think maybe Instagram I maybe saw. Like even, this is a question I had for you actually. I think it came up on one of my stories, but essentially, dude, you've got some crazy like fucking stripper moves going on. I saw him when he saw it. How do you learn this is what I want to know. Like is there like a stripper school you go to when you decide to go from topless wedding to stripping? Do you learn on the job? That's what I'm, do you go to?
Yes, Mark, there is a stripper school. Do you want me to enroll you?
Yeah, sign us up. Me and Kat are coming.
Maybe that's what I need to create. Now,
sell it.
Apollo stripper school.
Funnily enough, Magic Mike, I got a bunch of moves from the actual movie. And
so you just watched the movie?
I watched the movie. I got a couple of those moves. And then
that's awesome.
I got a couple of moves from dudes who already did it in industry. And I had a dance teacher who like did the choreography.
Oh, really?
All together. Yeah. So my routine.
Oh, you actually got like a dance teacher?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, I did like dance lessons for like 12 weeks, like during COVID lockdown. It was actually really good. I've got like videos from my living room. Yeah.
Oh my God, maybe I need to get a dance teacher. Not that I do much dancing, but that sounds fun. Just because why not?
It was a fun project while I felt like my life was burning to the ground. So like, it was good. It was good to take my mind off things, and it worked out. Everything worked out.
Yeah. Do you ever with your OnlyFans content? Do you have many scenes where you start off as like stripping? Like, do you incorporate that into your OnlyFans?
Oh, that would be fun.
I used to do, no, I don't, but I used to do, I used to put stripping content up before they did a big, before they changed the rules to make sure you tag every single piece of flesh that is in the video.
Oh, how annoying!
I had all these fantastic stripping videos with like the audience in the front and stuff, but like everyone's back of their head, black silhouetted. You can't see anyone's identity, but like all those got flagged. I got like 6 or 7. I got like probably like 25, 30 videos flagged like when they changed those rules, which I just had to delete because there's no way you can tag all the audience members. But
actually, let's talk about that for a second. What is going on with OnlyFans at the moment? I know like 10 people in the last like month that have gotten their OnlyFans accounts deleted.
I've seen that, and it's actually scary. But
really,
it's not scary because I go out of my way to follow the rules. But I know a lot of people who. Really?
Well, I heard they banned squirting like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I'm pretty sure everybody does squirting on OnlyFans.
Yeah, so so that's the thing. Like, public is banned, squirting is banned, urine is banned, excretion.
Okay, hang on. Sorry, why are they banned squirting?
Yeah,
that's a new thing. I think that's why a lot of girls got their accounts deleted like a few weeks ago because all of a sudden they banned squirting. I don't know. This is just what I heard. I don't know if that's true.
They banned squirting. I think. The problem is that a lot of people do like semi-public stuff because it is a very popular genre, but you're not allowed to do it on OnlyFans. So what they do is they'll bang on a balcony, or they'll bang in a car, or they'll do, or they will bang in public, but they won't label it as such, or they'll.
So even a car, I guess that is public. I heard they banned fruit as well. Like, doesn't everybody
So what they did is, what it is actually, if it's not an item designed for that, if it's not an item designed to go inside you, it's not allowed. So if it's not like a sex toy dildo vibrator,
or like finger or something.
I knew a girl who got a strike for using, because when she was a teenager, she said she used to use her hairbrush, the end of her hairbrush.
Yeah, who doesn't? We've spoken about this on the podcast before. You chuck anything up there when you're young.
Exactly. So she said that she would start like a scene with the hairbrush, and then like however it went, and just because she was using the hairbrush, she got a strike. So
if you got it there, why not?
Why is this though? I'm just imagining like executives of OnlyFans are sitting around the table and being like, look, we have a real problem with people using hairbrushes. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't get it. Like, what was there something that was happeing where like were people worried about cucumbers?
It's really weird. They keep like changing their rules like all the time, baby. But a lot of people are like, a lot of people getting banned, so they're just like moving on to other more lenient platforms. I know everybody's moving to like Fansly, I'm seeing. Because like literally 10 people I know have lost their OnlyFans just like this month. I know a lot more girls who have lost their OnlyFans just this year. So, and it seems to be a lot of girls. Like, I feel like the guys are always okay. Guys are never losing accounts. It's only girls.
Well, I think because probably girls get maybe it's because girls get a lot more custom requests. So this might be, because I've thought about this too. I'm like, why do I not get any strikes? Why do girls get strikes? I know one girl that had her like Scarlet Blue link in her bio, which
that'll do it.
got taken on by AI. Like AI picked it up immediately, and she got deleted. But I think that like a lot of girls get like maybe peeing requests. Maybe they get like some requests to do things that because they're doing it as a private, as like a custom that they only send out to the one person. Maybe they think, I can get away with this. I don't know. Maybe they don't do that. Maybe they're being picked on. But
it's probably the escorting as well. I got flagged one time when I had a client ask me. So it wasn't even me. I had a client like ask me to meet up because obviously I do that. But like you can't talk about that on OnlyFans. And then I got like a strike for that. I was like, I didn't even reply. I was like, the fuck?
That is a big one, actually.
Oh,
that is
wow.
A big one because dudes will always ask you to meet. Like I never get asked for meets because like my platform has a lot of like gay dudes on it. And they know I'm not gay, so they're not going to ask me to meet. But also, women don't tend to ask you to meet, whereas chicks, I'm sure there are plenty of men who are like,
"No, it's every day," and I'm just like, you can't say that.
I saw you in Newstead. I saw you here. I live over here. Whatever. Like, so I don't know. I think there's a few reasons why people are getting banned, but I think they are getting way more strict. And I'm just like a stickler for the rules because I don't want to lose that income. But I think it's definitely, if you are a creator and you do things on your OnlyFans or your kinks are like, peeing like excretion, all the things that are probably like hard impact, really rough play, you know, whatever. Even like high amounts of slobber. If you're like a deep throat queen and you're slobbering a lot, like almost like.
Well, you can't do slobber.
Well, to the extreme. You know what I mean? Like, you know those videos
Oh
where
my
it's like
God.
almost like a fucking puddle of slime? Like, it's just, I think that OnlyFans is a little bit more mainstream in that way. And I think if you are inclined to do that, that's great. But I think get another platform. It doesn't take a lot of, like, it does take effort. But like, if you were to be like business savvy and sit there and go, right, I've got my next month or two of OnlyFans content, schedule. That is this band of content. I'm not allowed to do X, Y, Z. And then you were to make a Fansly where you go, okay, Fansly is purely for my weird kinks or my more my more extreme kinks that aren't allowed on OnlyFans. Then I will just upload like my month or two there, and then you're good to go. All of your content.
Yeah, I see a lot of girls doing that now. They're just like, if you want all of the hardcore shit, go to my other platform where all the,
because the thing is,
kinky
OnlyFans
shit
is still the Netflix of porn. Like, people can say all they want, Fansly's better, but guess what? When you think of online porn, do you think of Fansly if you're the general public? No. You think OnlyFans. You think Pornhub first, then you think OnlyFans. So, like, you need to be on OnlyFans if you want to be getting people to trust you enough to put their credit card details in. Because before I knew what these platforms were, I was like, I'm not putting my credit card details into nothing. Like porn related, I could just imagine my card just getting fucking milked, you know? So I can just imagine what the general public kind of think in that regard. So for me, I'm like, it's more because it's a trusted platform for the consumer for me, not so much that I love the platform. Platform's been great to me because I don't do like mega kink content. But like, yeah, that's my opinion on it. Get a second platform that can take that stuff. Don't like be pissed off at OnlyFans because they're, you know, upset at you for going against the guidelines. Like, just like I tell people with the social media, treat it as it's meant to be treated and it will be good to you. Like, it's not, the only time it's ever been bad to me, social media, is when I get shadow banned, is when I'm trying to bend the rules too much, when I'm trying to say things, do things, show things that are just not, they've made it quite clear they don't appreciate it. So like, as long as you can like know, it's like sport. You know the rules enough, you can manipulate it to be in your favor. So like, if you know the rules of Instagram, all right, that's the content I can do there. I know the rules of TikTok, that's the content I can do there. I know the rules of OnlyFans, that's the only porn I'm going to put there. And then any other stuff I'm going to put on these other platforms. And it creates a huge amount of work, which is the hard part, because a lot of people doing OnlyFans, unfortunately, don't do it full time. And like you say, it's a harder slog now than ever. So if you weren't established before, even if you are established, it's fucking hard to make $1. Like, it's hard to make enough to like really, really be living that lavish lifestyle unless you're like a TikTok famous 21-year-old girl, I reckon. Like, or established and like really fucking hammering huge markets like American market and things like that. Like, I don't know many people besides the people going off on TikTok, like we discussed before, who are just using OnlyFans as a platform and being like, just like thirst sexy online, that are doing like crazy numbers anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, because there's no essentially organic reach that you're creating through OnlyFans, right? Like, they're not recommending your page to everyone or anything like that. Like, it has to be.
There's no homepage. They need one though. They need like a for you page on there.
But they do, and I mean, how would that work? Because everyone, it only shows you what you pay for. You know what I mean? So that's the difference between that and
it could even just be like their profile picture or their banner or something. Like, I feel like there's ways that they could do it, or like maybe you could connect your Instagram feed to it, and then it could show like your Instagram pictures or something. Like, look, there's ways that it could be done.
That'd be pretty sick if it was like a second Instagram, if they linked up with IG.
Yeah, because I know like you would be able to like connect, because I know like even I'm pretty sure even like the escorting sites let you connect your Twitter feeds and Instagram feeds, and that's like even more next level than like OnlyFans. So, yeah.
Do you think they're trying to push towards less adult content though?
Yeah,
like it sounds like they're getting more and more strict the more popular they're getting, right?
Well, they tried to ban us once. I don't know if you heard this. They tried to ban it like 2 years ago, and then they backflipped after 2 days.
Yeah, I remember that, and I wonder if that was a marketing ploy, because honestly, if they, let's just say they intended to get as many people interested in OnlyFans as a porn site, that's the way to do it. Get everyone outraged at you
talking about it on the news.
Because, like, honestly, like, I don't know why they would. Like, I don't know what the motivation would be for them to drop that from their platform purely.
It's all of their money.
Yeah, I literally don't know anyone who's making like huge money doing other stuff. It's not like I'm looking at another
cooking
industry.
or some shit.
Cooking,
yeah, I'm not
cooking.
Like, I'm not looking at a fucking fitness industry takeover. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this guy doing personal training is making, $100,000 a month on OnlyFans selling his
Absolutely not.
Because it's just not happening. So like anyone who's worried about OnlyFans like not continuing adult stuff, I don't know why they would, because they're making absolute killing from it. B, also don't know why they would, because there is now so much competition in like Fansly and like, I can't even name any, like there's like ManyVids and like, there's like literally 20 different sites that do the exact same thing. Some are better because they're not as established. They allow you to do, as you say, more kinky things. They have better platforms with like more, not better platforms, but more functions that you just don't have available to you on OnlyFans. So, I mean, like if OnlyFans, same thing is what happened 2 years ago when OnlyFans said, I'm not going to do adult stuff anymore. We're potentially not going to do adult stuff anymore. Guess what? We all did, including me, created a Fansly. So like, it's not like it's going to go away. It's like prohibition of alcohol. Back in the day when they prohibited alcohol, what happened? The speakeasy bar was created. It was just a door, no signage, just a security guy. You would bang on the door, he would open it up, and you would say a code word, come in, and you'd come drink until you're fucking drink yourself full to the gills, and then you would leave, and no one would know, cops wouldn't know, you'd pay an exorbitant price, blah, blah, blah. So my point is that things that people like this, are not going to go away. They just move to somewhere else. So if OnlyFans was to just say, hey, we're going to become a online platform for fitness and book club, see you later, guys. Everyone just goes elsewhere, and then something else becomes the primary like porn mover in that industry, or streamer, or whatever you want to call it, platform.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And it's probably it probably speaks to the idea of like having that backup. Like it always scares me relying on like one platform, right? Because as Kat was saying, it's so easy to get banned, or like maybe they do move. Like maybe they say, hey, look, we want to start running ads on our site. We want to look like more of a Patreon type thing, or maybe we're having issues with like banks. Yeah, I doubt, as you said, I doubt it'll happen. They're killing it from all that online fucking content. I think it'd be absolutely stupid. But yeah, I think it's interesting to think about in terms of like, from a business point of view, is just prepping yourself a little bit and being prepared to like, okay, if I do get fucked by OnlyFans here, at least I've got some backup or like a plan to, as you said, just move to another platform, because there's always going to be a platform, right?
Definitely. I think from a business perspective, mitigating your risks is always a good idea. So for example, like I lost my TikTok like in 2021 that had over 500,000 followers on it. And that was my only means of getting people in at that time. Like I wasn't really posting on Instagram. I was using Instagram stories as like my personal diary sort of thing. But like more often than not, all of my traffic would come from going viral on TikTok. And I was going viral on TikTok doing things that were probably definitely were outside of the guidelines, because I got deleted. When I got deleted, I was like left with this like stark realization that, holy fuck, I literally have just lost my entire incoming funnel. And that took me 6 months to recover from. And from there, I started doing Facebook, Instagram, backup Instagram every day, TikTok every day.
Yeah, you have like multiple accounts of each thing, isn't it? This is becoming like a new thing now, where everyone's having like 5 Instagram accounts, 5 TikTok accounts, multiple this accounts. And even me, I have like 3 Instagram accounts now after I lost my Instagram account.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's really super valuable in terms, like, because everyone's like, get a backup. So then when I get deleted, you can come and check out my backup. But if you're not using that backup, guess what? No one follows it. So like, if you're just going to have like the Apollo show and then like the Apollo show backup, but I just ignore the backup and just never use it. and expect people to follow it. It's not.
That's literally what happened to me when my account got deleted. I did have a backup, but I had like 200 people on it because I just didn't do anything with it.
Exactly. So I actually have 2 accounts on Instagram, which I actively post on each, and they've both separately got their own kind of following going.
Do you post different things? Like, are they kind of different niches, or are they just the same shit?
This is another thing. Like, you kind of get away with what you can get away with. So, and up until literally, I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I noticed that if I posted the exact same video, same time, it would get independently decent views. But just in 2-3 weeks, last 2-3 weeks, if I post the same video, the same time, one gets great views and one gets like 20 views in an hour. So it recognizes that you're now doing. So this is the thing. Like, I was able to cheat the system and you will find the same thing, guys. The more you invest in these platforms, you'll be like, if I post the same thing, I can get the same views. Because TikTok, I've been able to post the same video even on different accounts from different phones without it recognizing that it's the same video. It must track the IP or track something to do with the photo.
No, they're getting so clever, these bloody apps, aren't they?
Exactly. But like I said, if you can really know these apps, you can use them to your own advantage. Like for example, like I know that bum crack is not allowed on Instagram, but bum crack is allowed on TikTok. And what I mean, that female bum crack. So what I mean is, if you're in like a G-string bikini and you're walking away from the camera, and then you turn around and give a wink, and then you walk into the beach, that will get flagged on Instagram to be not recommended, because Instagram now has a not recommended list instead of just a community guidelines violation. So you've got your community guidelines here, and then you've got your non-recommendation guidelines here. So if you're showing too much bum, showing too much skin, like I took a whole bunch of videos while I was in America of the girls, like, because I usually tell people when I collab, I'm like, hey, here's what you're going to bring. You're going to bring a few bikinis so we can do stuff by the pool. Going to bring a gym fit so we can do like some stripper moves and whatever. And then bring like a summer dress or something like cute and sexy, you choose, that we can do some role plays in. You know what I mean? So like when the girls come, if they've got sexy bodies, I'll be like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get you walking out of the pool. We're going to get you jumping into the pool. We're going to get you popping out of the pool. You know, all these different things to show off their physique. And guess what? Every one of those ones in a bikini got flagged onto this non-recommendation list on Instagram. So you can't use that content for Instagram. I can use it for TikTok.
Yeah, is the bum thing a new thing on Instagram? Because the same thing happened to me. Like, I have so much tit on Instagram, and the tit photos are okay, and like girls be chucking their nipples on Instagram now. But I have I had a few photos of me just like innocently in a bikini, just like from behind, but like not even doing anything sexual, literally just like a back shot, and all of that got flagged. And I'm like, it's just me in a fucking bikini at the beach or whatever, but my titties are fine.
This is why stories are the new bikinis, because honestly, nothing gets traction if you're showing too much skin. I actually put a friggin' shirt on. If I put I've got a bunch of like beige shirts that I actually really like, but I don't wear them because it thinks it's skin color. I think I've got my shirt on.
No.
So whenever I'm doing
stories,
whenever I'm doing stories or just talking to the camera like this, I wear a dark shirt so it can tell that I'm actually wearing a shirt. So and then my views I get better views. So I've actually
I've just started getting my tits out because apparently they're okay with tits. I'm just going to show my tits. Just make sure I don't turn around, just have my tits and that's it.
And that's the thing. So like as a girl, and if you're looking for a strategy as a girl to do good content creation that always gets pretty good views, you'll be like, okay, I can show off some cleavage and titties on Instagram. I can show off some butt. Granted, I'm by the water on TikTok in like a G-string bikini or whatever, and then you just kind of flesh out your stuff from there. But it's definitely a challenging landscape at the moment, and I think the people that will win are the people that can manage to create thirst but like without showing a bunch of skin, and also create a connection with their audience. So if you can be like mega authentic and create there are people who people just fucking love the stories they tell. They love the way they talk. You know, some people just blog their day. Like Anna Paul blogs her day. Like literally doesn't even do anything like super specific to sex work. And people just like, tell me more about what you do. Tell me more. We're on the edge of our seats. So if you can create that, guys, as well as do a little bit of thirst stuff, you'll be sweet. It's a lot harder now than it ever was because, like you say, it's saturated. A lot of people are doing it.
And I think that's probably what's, so I was going to say, I think that's probably what like OnlyFans was created for essentially, right? Like it is to feel a part of that connection. I think a lot of people can just like find porn online if they want, right? But yes. I think a part of it is I'm finding porn from this person and there's a reason I'm like investing in this person. And so, yeah, creating that story I think is a big part of it. So what were you saying, Kat?
Correct.
No, I was just going to ask, like, would you get into escorting or have you got into escorting or like that kind of stuff?
I'm honestly like, I really need to be attracted to the person. I don't, that isn't like I can't really do a very good job if I'm not attracted to the person. Like if I was to rock up and it was like a 60-year-old lady out of shape and like,
which it would be.
it would be. I'm not. I mean, like not nothing against a 60-year-old lady out of shape. It's just not someone I choose to have sex with. Even, but you know what? Like, never say never. But I don't know. It's just one of those things that is like just doesn't really vibe with me. If I was a chick and I could just literally lube up my bits and just like mentally be elsewhere, then great. But like having to be present and like really be attracted enough to be able to get a hard on and do the job properly is like, that's a whole nother ball game, you know, and this is one that I'm just not really interested in doing.
So talking about 60-year-old women, how's your dating life going now, Apollo? So you're
newly
single now.
I know.
Exactly.
I know, mate. It's actually all right.
Fill us in. What's been happening?
I've only like honestly, because I was so busy before in the lead up to the trip. So I did like 4 weeks of hard collabing before the trip to try get all of my content kind of scheduled up until I got back, and then obviously went on the trip and did 23 videos in 24 days, and then have been back, and I've just had 2 weeks of just like burned out, not really wanted to do anything. So I've only just in the last week and a half downloaded Hinge and started using that. But I haven't even been on a date yet, guys. I haven't even been on a date. I'm so picky. I'm honestly so picky. And because when I was single before, I was very driven by like just, I enjoy sex. I want to have sex. So like I would be a little less picky. I would like go on more dates, you know, blah, 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 waste a lot more time, to be honest, just so I could have more sex. But now I'm just like, the sex is there. I'm having a lot of sex. So like, I don't know. I haven't really been doing a lot of dating, but like, I think that'll change as time goes on. And like, obviously, I'm just in this like hustle phase right now with work to try get as much kind of work done and scheduled forward as possible. So when I kind of settle into wanting to be, because you do miss the intimacy. That's what you miss, you know, like you miss kind of the cuddling and the hanging out and the making out and the making a connection, because you just don't really do that when you're making porn. At least like you don't really do that here. Like I had a few really good like collabs overseas where they were obviously single and we were having a great time, and it did feel like more like a hookup, and that was fucking great. But that is definitely not typical of how it goes down. So I mean, right now, not really doing a lot of dating, but not mad about it.
Okay, that's fair. And do you think when you get into it a little bit more, when you kind of recover from your fucking 24 and 23 days, whatever it was, do you think you'll do you think you'll run into an issue around like being in the sex industry?
Definitely.
Is that something you're very open to on the apps? Like, is that something you're thinking about, or are you thinking like I'm going to look for a girl that's open to that? Like, where are you at with all of that?
I don't know, man. Like I have only just, because I've only just downloaded the app, I have thought about what the future looks like, and I don't know. I don't actually know what that looks like, because I know personally, like I wouldn't be like really that comfortable with my partner like going and sleeping with a bunch of people while we're together. So I mean, do I have that expectation of others? Probably not. But like, I don't know how that would work, because I've never actually been in this situation. I started this in a relationship and have only just gotten out of it. So, but in saying that, every couple that I've seen overseas that actually do it, And a lot of the girls that you work with have long-term partners, married, whatever. So it's a thing. I just wish that I had that thing in me that like enjoyed seeing your partner work with other people, or like enjoyed that like not like a like hot wifing, cucking, whatever you want to call it. Like I wish I had that in me, but like to me it just creates like an intense jealousy that I just cannot shake. So I don't know.
I think that's very normal, right? Like I think like it's very unique to not feel that, I think. And I think it is something that if you really want, right, this is my opinion, if you really want, I think it's something you can like work on and get to a level where you're like definitely more okay with it. But yeah, I mean, fuck it. Like if you're the type of guy that's like, hey, listen, if I'm going to be like dating a girl, then it has to be like very exclusive and I can't have her obviously like going to work with other people, doing other shit, then I mean, that's what you look for, right? But I guess like you'll have time to figure it out.
The point is, I probably will have to find something else to do if that's an expectation I have on her and that's reciprocated. Because I don't see a scenario where it would be like where you would find someone who's like, yeah, cool, go do your thing, but I'll just like hang out at home, you know? So
I mean, you could. Yeah, I agree. It's probably going to be like more difficult to find, but you might find girls that do have that aspect where it's like, look, I don't really mind if my partner's like doing work and doing his thing. Like, as long as like, if I'm going to compromise on this, then maybe he compromises on something else. Like maybe it's not the whole like exclusiveness of like the sexual part of things, but like, I think it's a back and forth and it doesn't have to be on like sex, or it doesn't have to be on like what aspect of the relationship it is. So yeah, I mean, it makes it tough, right? It makes it very tough, but yeah, I guess you've got that ahead of you.
Well, totally. And like I've worked with people before where where like I was working with the guy's wife, and like he was there and he filmed it, and he was just like, man.
Crazy.
He was like, fuck her hard. And I remember doing it, and like, man, I would be just so uncomfortable.
No, I'm exactly the same. I'm a sex worker too, but like I would do an open relationship, like, but I wouldn't want to see it or know about that it's happening. It's just like, just don't tell me. Just don't tell me anything that's happening. But yeah, no, I vibe with that because I'm totally the same.
I don't know. I don't know where that will land me in terms of relationship, but lucky for me, I'm not really thinking about that right now. I'm totally focused on work. So my plan is to just sell all these videos I did in America over the next like 3 to 5 months. And I'm just going to put heaps of work into my social medias to try and keep pushing and growing my profile, pushing people into my Onlyfans. And then I'm hoping to do an even bigger trip next year, which I still haven't decided what I'm going to do exactly yet, but most likely head back to LA and work with hopefully some even bigger creators.
Very nice. Is there anywhere else in the world that you'd go to do content? Besides like the US?
Yeah, no, I mean,
there's some big people in Europe, isn't there?
I literally was going to say, like a few people have gone over to Europe. They've just been to XBiz, and which is like a awards night thing. And there are a lot of creators over there, but not like a heap compared to LA. Like you could literally, there are hundreds of creators in LA, and they all have huge followings. And like when I say huge followings, I mean like, some have up to 1 million. The lowest I worked with, I think they had like 50,000. So I mean,
which is still a lot.
Which is huge considering the people. Like, I'll use the girls here. Like the girls that actually work with men, which aren't a lot. Like the big girls you think of with the huge followings, usually are Instagram models who have a boyfriend. They do content with them. They don't work with anyone else. They don't really do porn. They're just like influencers from way back, and that's what they do. And they actually make pretty good money because they've just built this thing they're like a legacy account, you know. But most of the girls that work here that actually work with men are quite new. Like they're not really doing like huge numbers on Twitter, not really doing a lot of social media. So it's actually, you work with them and a lot of people don't actually know who they are. So I feel like if you're trying to grow particularly as like a male creator, you really have to be like dipping your toes into cross promotion with bigger creators. And the way to do that is become a trusted male in industry, which is always get tested, show your test results, be completely transparent about like what you're going to do on the day. Be really professional with how you organize things. It's not a hookup, and get heaps of numbers behind you. Like, don't go try and like work with someone who is like got hundreds of thousands of followers when you literally haven't done any work yourself and then get butthurt about it. As long as there are males that like people want to work, like people want males in industry, like there is a shortage of like good dudes to work with because it is actually a very hard job, high pressure job for males, but also like any unskilled job, I assume that has like huge primal benefits for dudes. It can attract scumbags. So like there's a huge history in like the adult industry of just dudes being super exploitative towards the women. So like once you become a trusted creator, male creator, it's a lot easier, but like you have to really do the work to bust into that kind of category because but that's the thing, like you need, so like you start working with everyone here, like that's what I did, worked with everyone here who had like smaller followings, and then you build that trust and you build your own platforms to a point where you can then launch into working with others. But that's only part of the puzzle. Like I said, I only grew like a smallish amount compared to if I had a TikTok go off. So I think everyone should be, males or females, should be really focusing on like their social media and what that says about them. And like if you put yourself in the shoes of who you want buying your stuff, right? So for me, it's like if I was a 20-year-old, between 20 and 60-year-old straight dude wanting to watch me fuck a chick, what stuff do I want to see on my social media? And lately I've started doing more like focusing on the girls, focusing on them, doing like role plays with them in the shot. And I've also just started a solo page, so I'll still do some of my male thirst stuff, so people funnel into that. But I think just knowing your audience and thinking of ways to appeal strictly to them and not really just doing a bunch of random shit that you saw on TikTok, good trend or whatnot. Or if you do a trend, that's cool because, you know, those things in between the actual message are good to like be filler to like create more views for those ones in between. So like, for example, I used to do like, an informative post about like, here's who I worked with today. And then that would get like pretty average views. And then I would do like some stupid video of me like flicking my junk in slow-mo. That would get millions of views. But then people would scroll across and see the one that was like a pointed, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's a bunch of ways you can kind of go off. But I think social media is the key.
Yeah, no, it's been interesting. Like it's good seeing the marketing brain behind it all, right? Because I've mentioned this on the show before, where I think, like as I mentioned at the start of the show, like there's going to be guys out there that hear, oh, you're stripping and doing Onlyfans. That sounds like a lot of fun and like it's really sick. But yeah, there's a lot to it, right? There's a whole business behind this and the whole marketing plan essentially that's going into this. So yeah, it's cool to see. It's cool to see you like taking on that journey and. Where can people find your next? How many videos you have coming out? 20 something collabs?
Yeah, I got 23 videos coming out, but I've just released my second one, so my third one comes out on Saturday. So you can get on my OnlyFans, which is the.apollo.show. That's also my main Instagram. I've also got a backup Instagram, the Apollo Show X. My Twitter is show_Apollo, and my podcast is the Apollo Show on YouTube. So.
Oh yeah, actually, let's talk about your podcast just quickly before we wrap up. So everyone, so Apollo is our first podcaster, I guess, that we've had on the show as well. So what do you actually talk about on your podcast? Is it like interviews or what is it?
Yeah, interviews. So it's very similar to what you and I are doing right now, where we're just talking about the journey, what you do, how you do it, and how you got there. You know what I mean? So I like this kind of like back and forth stuff. It's really good. I think people like once again, authenticity is the key, and that's 1,000 times more engaging than just copying, being unoriginal, doing what everyone else is doing. Like, so I think that podcasts in general are a really good way to get to know a person on a personal level, but also it kind of brings out those little gems of like content that you would never have gotten just kind of doing a short form 1 or 2 minute segment where you're like, I'm just going to ask you one question and then you're going to answer it and then we're going to put that on social media. You know what I mean?
Perfect. And Paul, I need to hear you up later. You need to teach me some of these magic mic moves, okay?
Definitely keen for it. Just let me know when you're here.
Yeah, all right. All right, done. Perfect. All right, well, thanks so much for jumping on. We'll put those links for anyone that's interested in the description down below. So if anyone wanted to check out your content, they can.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, cheers, man. Thanks for
See you
coming
next
on.
time.